Hello again, and welcome to our final lecture of the day for Feeder 2 at this year's Virtual African Bird Fair. If you have not yet done so, why not head over to our Gold Sponsors pages under the Sponsor tabs to find out more about the incredible organizations supporting bird conservation at the Virtual African Bird Fair. A big thanks to Gold Sponsors Ricoh, Canon, Toyota South Africa, Boundless Southern Africa, and Swarovski Optic for supporting the 2021 Virtual African Bird Fair. BirdLife South Africa started the Bird of the Year campaign in 2007, and since then, we have seen a number of exciting species featured, including the secretary bird, white-winged flufftail, African penguin, blue crane, and lappet-faced vulture, to name a few. In 2021, the Cape Rockjumper has donned this illustrious title, and joining us to tell you all about these special South African endemics is BirdLife South Africa's new Science and Innovation Program Manager, Dr. Alan Lee. It is no secret, Alan's favorite bird is by far the Cape Rockjumper, and I have no doubt you will enjoy hearing his passionate lecture this afternoon. Over to you, Alan.
Thanks, Melissa, and good afternoon to all of you tuning in to today's talk. I'm Andrew de Blok, Avian Tourism Manager for BirdLife South Africa, and with me, as you know, is Dr. Alan Lee, our very brand new Science and Innovation Program Manager. Welcome, Alan. And he's going to be talking today about his favorite bird. As Melissa says, it's no secret that is the Cape Rockjumper, and it's also the Bird of the Year 2021. So a quick synopsis of the talk supplied by Alan should give you a precursor of what's to come. So he says, this is a talk that will leave you dazed and confused or vaguely amused. This bird shouldn't just be Bird of the Year, it should be Bird of the Century. It shouldn't just be South Africa's Bird of the Year, it should be Earth's Bird of the Year, or even the bird of all time. Why? Because it's the best bird, the greatest bird, the most beautiful bird, the most exciting, kick-ass bird, literally, it knows karate, the Cape Rockjumper, the rockiest bird in the Fynbos. Now, Alan, I invited you to do this talk knowing you're a little bit of a maverick, and I'm a little bit worried. you have a warning on your title slide here of sex, violence, language, and nudity. This doesn't look like a talk for anyone under the age of 13.
Yeah, indeed, Andrew. It's probably also not suitable anyone for over the age of 13. So probably just biologists and people who are into that sort of thing.
Okay, so just us two then.
So just us two. Anyway, shall I take it away?
Yeah, take it away, Adam.
All right, so yep, thanks very much, Andrew, for that introduction. We are here today to talk about why this isn't just my favorite bird, it's also your favorite bird, and the rationale behind that. So there is a bit of a rumor out there that this might be South Africa's Bird of the Year, but the background to that is like really unfair because this was based on a poll of 50-odd bird species out of 700 bird species found in South Africa, and Cape Rockjumper wasn't on that list. But now, if we have a look at a Cape Rockjumper, we'll see that superficially they're very similar in terms of size and in terms of coloration. But there is one important difference, and that is the eye. So we've got the eye of the Cape Rockjumper here, and the eye of a Cape Robin.
And Alan, have you not animated the Cape Robin? I can't see its eye.
Well, that's the whole point, Andrew. I mean, it's just like a black eye on a black screen, you know, it's totally boring. Whereas like Cape Rockjumper, it's like when I first caught a Cape Rockjumper and I looked into its eyes, it was like I was looking through the Stargate, you know, it's a glimpse into infinity. It's like a black hole. It's like extra dimensions. Whereas like, if you think of like the bad characters, like in Avengers movies, you know, like Loki, like takes control of someone, they get these like black eyes, you know, that's kind of like the Cape Robin. So in terms of like, you know, which has got the better eye, Andrew, which has got the better eye?
Well, it kind of looks like the Cape Robin, or Cape Robin chat firstly. I see you've got that wrong on the slide. But
we're chatting about Cape Robins, yeah.
Yeah, it looks, compared to the Rockjumper, it looks dead inside.
Indeed, indeed. So therefore, if we'd had Cape Rockjumper and birds that are similar in every other sense, it's very clear to me that, you know, people would have voted for Cape Rockjumper. Yeah, and so now we can compare this to other birds in other parts of the world. So the UK voted their favorite bird to be the Cape robin. So very clearly, you know, if we've got a rockjumper to choose from or a robin to choose from, you know, if the UK had rockjumpers, clearly they would have also voted for rockjumpers. Yeah. So it's like the only thing a robin's got going for it is that it's like got a monopoly on Christmas cards. You know, and with those like black eyes, it's also very clearly like tweet, tweet, I serve the great overlord Santa Claus. So it's clearly the Cape Rockjumper would win. And if we move further abroad, let's go to America. This is their national bird, an image that works on many different levels. And I've got nothing against bald things. Right? So this is like, you know, it's purely like, I can relate to this guy. But would you want that as your national bird? Have you seen this movie, Angry Birds?
I haven't seen Angry Birds, no.
Well, don't watch it with children because it's got very explicit content, a little bit like this talk. I mean, there's nudity, there's like these little green pigs running around without pants on. There's violence, the birds totally destroy this city of pigs and will just like die in glee. And there's this like artist pig who literally shoots fire from her butt. So not suitable for children. I was totally shocked when I watched that.
Sounds like a cinematic masterpiece.
So another nation that takes this bird of the year thing very seriously are the Kiwis, the nation, not the birds. And last year they voted in the kakapo, the world's fattest parrot, for the second time running. You know, and I've got a PhD in parrots. So it's not like I've got anything against parrots or anything, but you know, notice how we can get a rockjumper to sit nicely on the shoulder and it doesn't even poop down your back. It's a wondrous bird. And this bird is probably, there's a video on YouTube, which is probably the most watched bird video in the world, which involves this man, the caretaker Marx, being shagged by a parrot. And of course, you know, I warned you there was a sexual element to this talk, and there you go. And I don't know about you, Andrew, but I don't think this is the face of consent.
No, it certainly doesn't look
Hashtag
like.
me too. So it's kind of a sad situation, isn't it?
What, that New Zealand's glorifying obesity by voting for a fat parrot?
Well, it's kind of that they've got so few birds that they've had to, you know, start recycling their birds to vote for the bird of the year.
So what are you saying? That Cape Rockjumper should be New Zealand's bird of the year too?
Totally. I think we should give them some choice. Let's send over some rockjumpers. All right. And the ultimate endorsement of Cape Rockjumper being like the best bird is that it features in all sorts of different media. So it's like on the cover of Sassol's Birds of Southern Africa guide. It's like the poster bird for one of our bird clubs. It's, you know, we've got tour companies named for this bird. But certainly the ultimate kudos comes from Michael Mills in his book, The Birder's Guide to Africa, where out of 2,700 species of bird on the African continent, he chose the Cape Rockjumper. So there we go. So I know you invited me to give the book because you thought that people might want to learn quite a bit about Cape Rockjumpers, but sorry to disappoint. I'm actually just going to refer them all to BirdLife South Africa's webpage because this is Kate Nidden Judge, and she's done an absolutely fantastic series of infographics, and you can learn everything that you want to know about the birds over here on the website. Just go to BirdLife South Africa and or Google Bird of the Year. If you can't remember this link, Bird of the Year 2021, BirdLife South Africa, and you will find all of this information. One thing though, Andrew, you might want to send her a new headband because she might be supporting the wrong NGO.
Yeah, I see that. We've got to get her a Cape Rockjumper buff when the shop reopens.
Exactly. All right, so there's quite a lot we can learn from these infographics, but there's one thing that's perhaps not in these infographics that I can tell you, something that's a little bit new, and that is that these birds are the absolute best dads in the world, like out of all birds, like out of all things, which might come as a bit of a surprise because you think that like rock jumpers, they're sexually dimorphic. The male is a very handsome bird and the female is slightly more demure. And in many of our sexually dimorphic birds, you'll find that the male's got very low participation in the child rearing duties, but not so for Cape rock jumpers. I was really amazed when we caught our first Cape rock jumper. They had a brood patch, and it was subsequently confirmed that the males play a very active part in rearing these chicks. Whereas, like by comparison, if we think about Cape weavers, where the males are these beautiful golden color, and the females just look like they've been made from a collection of straw. Male Cape weavers literally build a room to go and get jiggy with it, and the females are so that it's like literally one night, you can have the house, it's not you, it's me, but I'm going to go build another house. I want nothing more to do with it. So rock jumpers, they're monogamous. They really are monogamous, and they both put a hand up for looking after the chicks. I mean, like, so what other birds, like, when we think of bird dads, come to mind as being great dads?
Probably the jacana, I guess.
Yeah, so we always like think of these little jacanas, like the male there with all these little baby little legs underneath the wing, and maybe he is a great dad, but probably not because he wants to be. He's been suckered. He has to look after the kids because the wife's gone to get jiggy with the jacana next door. And I mean, hornbills are another classic species, where everyone thinks, the male's doing such a good job, is feeding the female in the nest and whatnot. But if you think about it, he's like literally walled her off behind, a bunch of feces and look after the kids, Although, of course, she does get her revenge because she gets undressed while she's in the nest. So sometimes it might be that the guy's like, "What, honey? What are you doing in there?" But yeah, and I mean, you can imagine a conversation there. The female hornbill's like, so I'd like, some chicken and some salad for lunch, and here comes back the male hornbill, and here's a shonkololo and a lizard of a tails lizard. So I think rock jumpers are really by hands down the best dads, the best birds. And another great reason that they're the best birds is, here we go, Andrew. What's this rock jumper doing?
Looks like it's carrying some food back to the nest.
You'd think, it's carrying poop away from the nest. It had a beak full of poo. And I don't know if you've ever been lucky or unlucky enough to change a nappy, but can you imagine that little rock jumper up there going, "Oh man, I'm really regretting feeding you a stink bug last night."
Yeah.
Right, so imagine changing a nappy with no hands.
No, thank you.
Let's have great sympathy for rock jumpers. Right, so let's get back to more pleasant topics. The rock jumpers, they live in the Fynbos, which again, hands down, it's the best bird in the best biome. We've got 9,000 species of plant here, 7,000 of which are endemic. They're all beautiful. You've got fantastic scenes like this. Massive plant biodiversity. Some say it's like better than the Amazon rainforest. It's really amazing. And another thing about rock jumpers is that, they're insectivores. They eat insects. And if you go to where rock jumpers live in the Fynbos, if you go to like Kruger National Park, it's like everyone's like, doing the magic in the air kind of dance. It's not magic, it's just flies, because you got all these insects there. But if you go where the rock jumpers live in the Fynbos, there's no flies, man. These guys are such effective insectivores. It's a great place to hang out up in the mountains because these guys are just picking out all insects. So there you go, another random fact. Yep, so Cape Rockjumpers live in the Fynbos, and Fynbos has got a bit of a climate change problem. You can see over here our female Cape Rockjumper is busy crying. Future of her children is at stake, or she's busy sweating. They're very physiologically poorly adapted to climate change and warming. And it's actually a part of Krista's results. So I was sort of disappointed at not in her results, which is that I mean, we're not from these birds that they're living on the tops of these mountains like Kamanaisi and Rooiberg, and these are separated each other from like vast expanses of Karoo. And we were really surprised when we did the genetic analysis on these birds that there was actually very little signature of them being genetically isolated. So it looks like that these guys actually are able to traverse between the mountain regions somehow. You know, maybe the guys have just got very good eyesight and they can see a female Cape Rockjumper on the next mountain. So they're just like, you know, bounding across the Karoo at night or at some time when people aren't active or bird watchers aren't active. Because of course you've never seen this, you know, and going to visit the girl next door, you know, to offer it, you know, to save the species, you know, let's do it for the species. So yeah, interesting result, unexpected result, but we are a little bit worried about the future of these birds, and the next slide will show why. This is like the one real serious slide here. We've got what's going to happen to Cape Rockjumpers going off into the future. So first we want to compare it to another bird, the Cape Sugarbird, and you know, current distribution, climate space, all nice across the Fynbos. 2 degrees warmer, starts contracting a bit, and 4 degrees warmer, where the rest of the world would be in flames. You know, we could still have sugarbirds as long as there's proteas to support them. But Cape Rockjumpers, if we do climate modeling on them, it's kind of now up in the mountains, 2 degrees warmer, and at 4 degrees warmer, there's no more climate space left for them to live in, unless we, you know, go and put some fridges up in the mountains for them to kind of like seek refuge in. So back to lighter-hearted topics. Cape Rockjumpers, as you know, one of 2 species of rockjumper. The other one is the Drakensberg rockjumper, and Caitlin's done a fantastic demonstration of why the Cape Rockjumper is the superior rockjumper in this situation. As you can see, the Drakensberg rockjumper's got takes after a kakapo a little bit, and of course, if they ever meet, then the Drakensberg rockjumper will bow down to the Cape Rockjumper because it's, you know, it's the better rockjumper.
Firstly, you know, you said Cape Rockjumpers are good dads, and it looks to me like the Drakensberg Rockjumper's got a great dad bod, as they say. But Alan, I don't think Cape Rockjumpers and Drakensberg Rockjumpers, they don't overlap, do they?
No, but you know, they don't overlap. But so there's a challenge for some ornithologists, is we could go and test this theory. We could go and catch a Cape Rockjumper and Drakensberg Rockjumper, and we could see if this is all true. Of course, it is hypothetical at the moment, but you know, it's all based on science. And the other thing that I didn't mention about these guys being the best dads is the karate bit. So the first time that like I caught a Cape Rockjumper, which Zoom really is trying to like, you know, censor over here. It's like, so spent all day up in the mountains, like catching my Cape Rockjumper, and I got like all this like thousands of rand telemetry over there. And you know, next thing I know, it's like, bah, bah, bah. Oh, things like down the mountain, like karate kick to the head and whatnot. It was crazy. I had to take up karate just to defend myself from Cape Rockjumpers.
I didn't know you did karate, Alan. What belt are you?
I'm white belt, Andrew.
Did you just start recently then?
No, I've been doing it for years, but I'm really bad at it. So because like every time the sensei says like, do you want to do the Heinz-Schorenkarte or the Gikisada itch. I'm just like, no, all I want to do is learn how to block rock jumpers.
Sounds like we need more time with Sensei Rockjumper.
Yep. So we can also see in this picture that, the Drakensberg rock jumper is really embarrassed about the fact that it also lives in Lesotho, and therefore South Africa doesn't have an endemic bird family. So when South Africa goes to invade Lesotho, in the United Nations, "Oh, South Africa, what are you doing?" Well, we just wanted an endemic bird family. Oh, no, that's fine then.
I somehow, if you'll excuse the pun, don't think that'll fly.
Could always try our luck. Do it for the birders. So I think at this stage we're probably disappointed some people in terms of people who are actually wanting to learn something about rock jumpers, and perhaps also those who'd stayed for the promise of nudity. So on the next slide, I'm hoping to rectify those people. So there we go. The famous Krista Oswald, who did her master's and her PhD on the topic of Cape rock jumpers. You can Google her talk, Conservation Conversations, about adventures in the land of rock jumpers. And here's the topless photo of Krista, used with her permission. And really, in terms of being dedicated to your study subject, I know of no other ornithologist in the world who has gone and tattooed her study subjects on as a full spread anywhere on their body, never mind like totally across the back. So Krista Oswald, quite a legend. Yeah, so you can watch her stuff there, Conservation Conversations. Or of course, I think you also did a podcast with This Birding Life. So those who are into podcasts, Andrew knows all about rock jumpers, in case I'm missing out on any details. All right, so what we got next? All right, so Chris is not the only expert on rock jumpers in the field. There are also these two youngsters coming up now who live in the land of rock jumpers with their own rock jumpers.
Hello, South Africa. We want to tell you a story about two rock jumpers. Once upon a time, there were two rock jumpers. They lived on a not rocky outcrop as they do today. They looked for food and also flew still like other birds. One day, Hornbill came. He did not like them in its new territory and kicked them out. They had to move somewhere else. Meanwhile, it took all their food. Soon they found a nice croppy outcrop. T-Tops, is this a good spot? Yes, indeed it is. Renatus went to get food, but he noticed it wasn't that useful to fly anymore, but to walk or hop. So she started hopping around looking for food. T-Tops, it's better to jump on this rocky outcrop. Yeah. Anyway, I got some food. Good. Well, this is a good spot to make our nest. And they lived happily ever after with their chicks. Bye-bye.
They're in so much trouble for playing with more toys.
It would only be the kids of a scientist who would adapt the scientific name of a bird into their character names.
T-Tops and Renatus.
I noticed T-Tops had something of an English accent. I don't know where that came from.
Too much YouTube, comedians, probably. Andrew, maybe you want to talk a little bit more about BirdLife South Africa's amazing offering of fluffy toys at this point?
Sure, yeah. If you're watching this and enjoying this and want to get your hands on one of those fluffies, you can. BirdLife South Africa's online store is linked to our platform, so you can find that on the home page on the left-hand side menu. Otherwise, if you want to get a set of 3 fluffies. I think it's the secretary bird, the hornbill, and the rockjumper. There are 3 packages of these for auction on the silent auction. So head over to the silent auction and place a bid and get 3 fluffies, which make a great toy for any kids out there, or any how should we say, immature adults.
I won't take that personally, Andrew. All right, so I guess that's we also use this opportunity at the virtual bird fair to try and do a little bit of fundraising for a worthy cause. I'm not too sure, Andrew, if a worthy cause has been identified in terms of Fynbos birds research.
Not for this year's project, I don't think, no.
So I know that toilet humor isn't appreciated, but maybe we can make an exception in this case here. I think that we all agree that no bird should have to carry poop in its mouth. I just need to say nappy, no hands, and hopefully you're going to be heading over to BirdLife South Africa, pushing that donate button and contributing to a worthy cause. Even if we don't get to make these little miniature toilets, it could end up looking like some kind of rural development program gone wrong. At the very least, we can go out there as the biologist and scoop the poop so that those male rock jumpers, those great dads living out there in the Fynbos, don't have to do it with their beaks. So on that note, yeah, thanks to BirdLife South Africa, and I'll let you get on with the show.
Alan, I hope that this poop project wasn't something you pitched as part of your science and innovation job interview.
So Andrew, so far this job has been less science and more innovation. So hopefully Mark isn't regretting what he got himself into yet.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Alan. I know this is a species you are super passionate about. Thanks for your very different take on why it's such a special species. Of course, there's a whole lot of more biological reasons, but I think you really brought out the character of the bird and made quite a convincing argument. I will certainly reconsider when I next vote for my favorite bird in South Africa, whenever that next poll may be. So you have at least one convert. So,
excellent. One at a time.
One at a time. That's how you rule the world. Thanks very much, Alan. That was very enjoyable, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day.
What an exciting overview of these unique birds who are 100% South African and certainly a species worthy of the title of Bird of the Year. Thanks, Alan, for sharing your knowledge of this incredible species with us. Up next on Feeder 1, our main channel, we have the keynote lecture by David Lindo, the urban birder, at 5 o'clock. If you've not yet bought your tickets to access this lecture, you still have a few minutes to do so. This will be followed by the famous Wind Down quiz, hosted by the talented quizmaster himself, Andrew de Block. Be sure to join in the fun at 6:30. Thank you for joining us at this year's Virtual African Bird Fair. And once again, thank you to our gold sponsors, Ricoh, Canon, Toyota South Africa, Boundless Southern Africa, and Swarovski Optic for their support of Feeder 2 and this event. Enjoy the rest of the content on Feeder 1 and be sure to get your bids in on the silent auction before that closes later today. Stay safe, everyone, and thanks for supporting the Virtual African Bird Fair.